I build worlds for a living, but I don't build them alone.
I'm Jeanne, the first reader and the partner who keeps the real world running.
I'm J.E. Sutton Jr. This is The Co-Authored Life.
A look at the stories we share and the life we're building together. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
We are trying to finesse the podcast because that's what we do. We're always trying to improve, and we've had some challenges today. So nerves are raw.
They are a little raw.
Yeah.
And we may just delete this and have to start over tomorrow. So we'll see. Maybe you won't hear any of this, but we'll give it a shot.
Right. Worst case scenario, we have to do it again, but I don't think we're gonna. I think it's gonna be okay.
We'll figure it out. So far, we've managed to make all of the recordings work.
Yeah, we have. Even the first one that took me days
2 days to edit. Yes.
Yeah. Which, is all part of the process. That's true. That's what's up right now is our pages in process.
Pages in process is the first thing up. So we're going to talk about what's going on with our book writing. We have a book release.
We do.
In
a week from when this gets published. Under a week.
Oh, under a week. Yes, because this will go out on Wednesday. The following Tuesday, the 14th of April, we will be releasing our second novel, my second novel, that Jeanne is instrumental in producing and publishing. Cybernetic Resonance.
Yes.
Will be out on April 14th, just about anywhere that you want to find it online. And you can get it in ebook, paperback, and hardback. You can pre-order it today in a lot of different places, including Barnes & Noble online and Walmart online. You can get the ebook pre-order on Amazon.
And now Kobo.
And you can get the ebook on a lot of other...
And Fable.
Of other sources. That's something that we wanted to talk about today. Yeah, Libby. That's something we wanted to talk about today because ebooks especially, we do what we call a wide publication on ebooks. And that means that we're not just on Amazon.
Right.
We're on services like Kobo, which has a Kobo Unlimited, which is very similar to Amazon's Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
We're on Fable, and there's dozens and dozens of them that are out there. Apple Books, Google Play.
Yeah.
You can get the ebook on Barnes & Noble. So there's lots of opportunities to get the ebook. And I would encourage you to look for other sources. Not just stick with one, because it's always good to have options. And sometimes people complain about, certain big publishers or big retailers, having too much power, but you control that because if you are open to using other sources like Kobo or Fable or whatever.
Or Libby, get it from your public library. Because you can request books and they will go out and buy them and then they're available free to the public. So take advantage of that.
Yeah, that's a good point. If your public library does not currently have a digital copy, or if you like to go in person and they don't have a physical copy, you can request that your library stock that book. And in most cases, they will do it.
It might take a bit, but
for the ebook, they can do pretty quickly. The print, either paperback or hardback, can take a little bit more time, but they can get a copy of it, and then that puts it into distribution. That helps us because we get sales. It helps you because you can then read the book
for free.
For free. Yep. So
speaking of free, on Kobo right now, you can download their 14-day free trial,
right,
and get the book and read it,
right, and
then if you like it, continue on with Kobo. But if you don't, cancel it.
Right.
Nobody's stopping you.
Right. I think so. I think that you probably would like it, and you probably won't end up canceling it because they have a lot of books available on Kobo. I've read one or two there myself, mostly independent books that I found. But I encourage you to go and look and see the different services that are available. You can go on our website, jesuttonjr.com, and if you click the link that says all retailers, you'll see a whole list of options for finding the book.
Right.
So I would encourage you to do that. Other than that, I'm still writing the next novel number 3, which we will announce the title of and give a little bit more details shortly after the release of Cybernetic Resonance.
Yeah, stay tuned for that. It'll be end of April.
Yeah, the end of April, we'll be ready to talk about it. I just don't want to get in the way of our next release, but we will talk about it very, very soon. We're not going to wait as long as we did for the first 2 novels. We're going to talk about it a little bit more.
No, if big publishers are putting their stuff out a year ahead of time,
right,
then we need to follow suit, because that's the hope, is that he becomes a big author.
I just want to grow our audience so more people get a chance to read the novels. So it's honestly, I'm not as concerned about the financial side of it as I am just getting the story out there and being able to reach different people.
They're good stories.
It's really, I think so. I'm excited about sharing them. I'm excited about, stories that have yet to be told that are in my head. Something happened this week that made me want to write another story that I can't figure out how I'd write. That'll come up later in the podcast.
Yeah. Oh, I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
She's trying to figure out what I'm talking about, but she does know because I said it.
He mentioned it in one of his social media posts.
Yeah. So I can't think of anything else. Jeannie's still working on her project.
Yes.
We really hadn't talked a lot about that. But,
no.
But she's working on a project. She may be developing a children's book, but that's still in process.
I need an editor, but somebody's too busy right now to help me edit, because they have a book coming out April 14th, Cybernetic Resonance. Shop now, pre-order wherever you like to buy your own books.
Okay, I'm not. So we can certainly talk about that. But she's also looking for artists, and she's looking for. She's just sort of figuring that out.
And like, how many pages is it supposed to have, and what's the layout? And is it going to be just a little board book? Is it going to be a picture book? Right. Is it going to be a chapter book? Because if it's going to be a chapter book, then I need to add more. And that's it's kind of a complex little children's story.
Yeah. I think it's a cool story, and I'd love to see it come out. I don't have any experience though in children's publishing, but I didn't have any experience in fiction publishing at all before we published the Failsafe program. So something,
but it's definitely a children's story.
It is. I think it is.
It might be a little too complex right now, and I just need to pare it down and simplify it. But I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I have somebody looking at it, but they've not gotten back to me, which I kind of expected. It's hard. It's hard to get help when.
Yes. Yeah.
You're putting yourself out there.
That's true. The haikus are still going well?
Yes, I'm still every day. I already have my haiku for today.
If you haven't checked that out, we'll put the link to Jeannie's Substack in the comments this week.
Lifeinterpreted.substack.com.
Yep. We'll put that in the link so you can check that out if you haven't already done so. I can't really think of anything else that's going on in our publishing world.
Other than you need to get with your editor about the 3rd book, because they are behind.
My editor's a little
anxious because she likes the story and she wants to know what's going on next. But there's still lots to be edited.
I finished a chapter.
Well, that's good. I can't read it because... People, coupling editor, author.
We'll get that sorted out offline, and we'll give you an update next week on Tales of the Editor's Wrath.
Oh my goodness! But we're gonna move on to our analog book club. I finished Project Hail Mary today.
Yay!
Yeah. It killed me at the end,
man. It's an emotional story.
Yeah. The ending is just so touching and endearing and gets back to who he is.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Andy Weir, and I think in that.
You think so?
Solution. Yeah, because I think that was his background, I thought.
Well, he was a software engineer.
No, that's right.
And then The Martian, according to his author profile, The Martian basically gave him the out to become a full-time author.
Right, right. Yeah, maybe what I'm remembering is that it seems that the education flows through all of his books.
Yes,
It seems to be a theme in all of his books, and I'm not sure. That just may be.
Yeah, I haven't read The Martian, but I'm gonna add it to my never-ending list of TBR to be read.
It's a good book. It's a good book, and you haven't read Artemis either.
No.
Which is different. It's different from both The Martian and Hail Mary, but I thought it was a very good book.
Project Hail Mary is it's just,
it's a very complex story.
It is, and I'm really interested now to see the movie because I want to see how they translate it and get the emotions of Rocky.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see how that is. I don't know. I haven't really read much feedback about the movie.
I heard it's doing well, but
that's good.
That's more of a plot and popcorn thing.
That's the difference.
Sorry.
It's a different segment.
Yeah.
So I'm still reading the
Bond.
I'm reading that too. In fact, we want to talk about that a little bit. I'm still reading the Autopsy by
Scarpetta.
The Scarpetta book from Tricia Cornwell. Sorry. And I am also still finishing Thunderball by Ian Fleming. And that actually brought up a different topic that I wanted to talk about because I've read Thunderball. I think this is the second time.
Well, you mentioned that last podcast.
Yeah, I've read it. And I've read most of the Ian Fleming novels at least once and a lot of them 2 or 3 times. So what I really wanted to know is if you have ever read books more than once.
As an educational interpreter, I have to always know what's going to be in the story. So I've had to read Outsider many times, just because that's the book they read in middle school.
Okay, so...
But not really for pleasure.
You haven't read anything for pleasure? So I was thinking about that because I have read the Bond novels several times, but that brought to mind other books that I've read more than once. Shogun by James Clavell, I've read twice, cover to cover, and that's a very large, it's like 1,000, like 1,100, 1,200 pages. I've read the Lord of the Rings trilogy twice.
The trilogy twice?
I've read all three books twice. I've read Dune by Frank Herbert. I've read that 3 times. So, and what occurred to me both primarily with Dune and the James Bond novels, Ian Fleming novels, is that I read them at different points in my life. They meant different things to me. So in Dune, I've read them 3 times, and each time I focused on different aspects of the story. So, because it's a very, very layered story with subtext about, geopolitical commerce and religion and
trade
right. and politics. So when I read the first time I read it, I was probably more fascinated with the sci-fi action adventure aspects of it. The second and third times I picked up more on the religious undertones and the sort of global geopolitical undertones that I didn't get the first time. So I think that's probably true of Shogun too. The first time I read it, I was really much more interested in. First of all, the first time I read it was very, very quickly. I read it in a weekend, because I wanted to finish it before the miniseries started in the 80s when it first came out. And I remember this story because I had a used copy of the book, and right in the middle of reading it, okay, we're back. Sorry about that. We had a little bit of an in-studio challenge with our co-producer who decided to run through the house and disconnect all the cables underneath the computer stand.
Yeah.
So thank you, co-producer Nutmeg.
And your zoomies.
And your zoomies in the middle of our podcast.
So you were talking about Shogun.
Shogun. I was talking about Shogun. So the miniseries was coming out like Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Monday. And I had a used copy of the book that I had purchased. And right in the middle of it, the binding split and pages started to come out.
Oh.
I cannot read a book like that. I just can't. And so in the middle of a Saturday or Sunday, I walked up to the convenience mart at the corner store at the corner, and found a copy in their little those little turnstiles, little turnstile of books. So they would sell pick books. And of course, because it was popular, because the miniseries was coming out, they had a copy of it, and I bought a copy of it. And I finished reading it that weekend for the miniseries to come out that week. Or maybe I finished it during the miniseries, but I'd gotten far enough that I could keep up.
Your mom let you watch the miniseries?
Yeah, I don't remember that being an issue. I
kind of remember my mom going, "No, you can't watch this."
Oh, I don't. My mom didn't pay that much attention.
Catholic upbringing.
My mom didn't pay much attention.
Which is kind of funny because that's kind of the whole.
The only that I'm not going to talk about, but if you want to ask me about TV shows my mom wouldn't let me watch, we could do that during another segment. But she never said anything about that. I don't remember anything about that. It came out in when, 86 or 87 or something like that?
70s?
It was 80s.
No, really?
It was 80s, yeah.
No, I'm looking at my phone. Shogun series.
Early 80s, I think.
2024. No, not that one.
The original miniseries.
Original.
So.
1980.
So in 1980.
So I would have been.
I was 16, 14? 14. No.
Younger.
No.
You graduated 84.
I would have been 18, so I was 14 in 1980.
I was 13.
Math is hard.
Yeah.
14, I was 14. She didn't care when I was watching it, 14. 13. She was probably working.
Yeah, that's true.
She was probably working nights.
You did have that advantage where she wasn't around at night.
She wasn't around. And my dad wasn't, trust me, my dad wasn't.
He was probably watching baseball or something.
Sure, he was, yeah, he probably was. Although we probably didn't, I don't know how many TVs we had at that time. But anyway, so that was the story of Shogun. I watched it, I read it that first time, and I was really reading it very fast. It was really, reading it for the sword fighting and the battles and all that. And later when I read it a year or so ago, after the new miniseries came out, I read it again and picked up again on some of the other themes. And of course the love story, which I probably didn't pay much attention to the first time.
Love stories. We like love stories.
Love stories are good.
Kissing.
It was kissing. Although Clavell was not exactly.
Not a lot of spice in those writings.
There wasn't remember being a lot of spice. It was what I implied spice, not so much overt spice. But anyway, so that was the thought I had about multiple books. Reading a book at different times in your life can give you different insights.
No, I've only read The Outsider a bazillion times. Not really a bazillion. It's probably, I'm going to say probably 8 or 9 times because every year I have to refresh,
Yeah.
Stay Golden, Pony Boy.
Yeah, but and like I said, you're reading that though for professionally, not
for enjoyment.
Right. I've never read that book.
Oh, really?
I've never read The Outsiders. Remember, it took me forever to get to read the Lord of the Flies. I didn't read that till I was an adult.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's about classes and
Yeah, I read Lord of the Flies. I just read like in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Or so. I didn't read a lot of those growing up. I read like 1984 and Brave New World and things like that. But I didn't read any of the
classics.
Class I didn't read Catcher in the Rye until I was an adult. Either.
I still haven't gotten all the way through it. but Lord of the Flies, what's the other one that we had to read in school? Animal Farm.
Animal Farm.
Yeah.
I didn't read. I read that as an adult too.
See, these were all like 6th and 7th grade books for me.
Yeah, no, I didn't read that until
they don't read that kind of stuff in 6th grade.
They don't read
now.
books in school anymore.
No,
they read excerpts. They read little paragraphs.
That is the problem with education. Let me get on my pulpit right now. They no longer read chapter books in middle school or any school that I know of. Maybe they do in high school, but in ELA classes, English Language Arts, they read excerpts. And from that excerpts, they're supposed to come up with themes of the story.
Archetypes.
Archetypes, yeah. You can't do that in an excerpt because it's just a snapshot of what's happening to that character in that particular.
Right. And in the larger literary work, that snapshot, first of all, might not even be the truth, depending on the perspective of the point of view, and it might just be. Out of context, it can be vastly misleading about the overall story.
The one I remember the most is the Huckleberry Finn scene where he tricks his friends into painting the fence.
Right.
That's an excerpt that every year they go over.
Right.
And I'm like, that's not even the point of the book.
Right. It's really not what the book is about at all.
No.
It's a terrible scene to base your opinion of Huck Finn on.
Right.
It's really not about that.
Mark Twain is rolling in his grave.
Yes. It's a book that's really about how we see ourselves versus how others see us.
Yes.
Right. And it's sort of an imposter syndrome kind of a story. Right. And his opinion of what people were thinking was vastly different from what they were thinking. You don't get that from the picket fence scene.
No, not at all.
That scene does not do anything for you.
No, it does not. And it doesn't represent him as his development through the whole story.
No, that's the problem.
That's the problem with
reading
excerpts.
Excerpts. Now, I think that you probably could get there, but you would have to do it in a very methodical way. You'd have to read specific excerpts in a specific order, and you'd have to talk through all of the plot elements in between and how they all connected. So you could do it, but it would take a lot longer than most classrooms have to teach that sort of thing. And so they no longer do any at-home reading that I'm aware of. They don't do homework like that anymore. They're not encouraged to read whole books because there's this whole political thing about reading, which makes no sense to me at all.
And it's unfortunate because these kids don't have the stamina to get through a book.
Right. And so then you don't have you do not have this learning to read and understanding reading in larger context. You read little snippets, and that's all you have the appetite to read. So that's why, in my opinion, one of the reasons why, only 40% of Americans in surveys claim to have read a whole book last year.
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
40%.
40%.
Read
40%.
Read at least one book.
Right. Fewer than that read on a regular basis for entertainment.
Yeah. I mean, I fell into that for many years because, I was reading at work.
Right. But not for pleasure.
Right.
Right. And so I think it's becoming an epidemic because I think it's so, and I mean, a lot of people prefer, visual mediums, and that's fine, but it's a different sort of experience, and
it's different muscle.
It's different areas of your brain. It's different ways to approach it, and I'm not trying to say you shouldn't watch TV and movies. In fact, we're about to talk about TVs and movies, and that's great. But there's something about reading, and when I say reading, I mean enjoying consuming the written word, and you can do that in audio. You could do that in electronic books, paper, braille. You can do it however you want. You can have somebody read to you. I don't care. The point is, someone wrote these words down.
Will you read to me?
I would read to you. You would get very frustrated, but I would read to you. The truth is, it's always her reading to me because that's how we do part of our editing session. But anyway, so there we are, Soapbox. Read more. If you haven't read a book lately, pick one up. Try to get back into it. I think you'll be happier if you can lose yourself in these worlds, and your mind will make up the visual part of it. You'll feel part of the story that you don't feel, I think, when you're watching.
And that's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else for?
No, I think we pretty much stretched that out for.
We still don't have a sponsor for the Analog Book Club. Apparently, it's Zoomies by Nutmeg.
Zoomies by Nutmeg.
Yeah, it's our sponsor for this week for the Analog Book Club. So, what's our next topic?
Plot and
popcorn. And I promised, I'll see if I can get it. I promised that we would have popcorn this week, and we do. So
we do have popcorn.
We have our popcorn, so we'll be eating a little popcorn here today.
So
what are we watching?
What are we watching? Of course, we're still watching The Pit, and it still is probably some of the best TV out there. We're still watching St. Dennis Medical, which is still funny.
Finished season 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
We're very near the end of season 2 of The Pit.
Yeah.
Got a couple more episodes, I think. 2 more episodes. Exactly 2 more episodes. We watched 13. And there's 13 episodes.
And we watched the episode last night, Friday. This is being recorded on Saturday for Wednesday's release. And we're like, wait, what does all this mean? So they're really good at ending every episode with you going, but wait,
where are they going with this?
Yeah.
So it's very well done.
It is.
I do like the fact that because of the way they've structured this season, they found a reason for us to spend a little more time with the nighttime crew, with the second shift. That's pretty amazing, right? Because we've seen, bits and pieces as they hand it off in the morning, in the evening, but because they have this extended time this year in the episode, you get to see more of the nighttime crew.
Right.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So I thought that was a very good way to get them in to that.
Yeah, and even the characters that I really don't care for, I am starting to feel empathy towards.
Like who?
Well, like Santos. I mean,
Santos. I kind of like Santos.
You do?
Yeah. She's troubled. The thing about Santos is she's not as tough as she pretends to be.
No.
And so a lot of what she's doing and saying are defense mechanisms.
Yes.
And so I can feel for her there. She's really kind of insecure. She's really kind of, she wants to ask her friend to stay her roommate, but she doesn't know how to do it.
Right.
And she doesn't want to admit that she's vulnerable and that she fears him leaving.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Now I'm starting to feel that empathy towards her.
Right. And I think I always have. I think I always saw through that sort of harsh exterior that she's not really as strong as she pretends to be.
Yeah.
So I think I've always saw that. So, but
I really like Dr. King, and I like that
Dr. King is the actress who's playing Dr. King is amazing. They're doing a really, really good job of portraying her
as kind of this androgynous, on the spectrum,
character,
socially awkward, but also vulnerable. And they're starting to peek into that, and her actually reaching out and telling people, I like it when you're here.
Right. Well, I just read something about that because she and Langdon have a different relationship than almost anybody else has with Langdon, and that's kind of
she actually respects him as a doctor.
She does respect him as a doctor, and she doesn't really judge him for his failings that other people do.
Right.
And so, and maybe that's because she's used to caring for her sister and not worrying about some of those things. Having the popcorn here is actually pretty cool.
It is.
It's a pretty nice prop. So what else are we watching?
We are watching the Detective Hole.
So Joe Nesbo's Detective Hole, based on the award-winning books from Norwegian author Joe Nesbø. It's really good. And Jeanne,
I didn't want to like it. I saw the trailer. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know. It's pretty dark. It's pretty gritty. It's pretty not a Jeanne show.
And it is dark and gritty.
But it is really good and
very graphic, though.
Very graphic.
Trigger warning, it is really graphic.
Yeah. I did have a nightmare.
Yes.
So, and I don't usually get them, but...
No, but it seemed pretty obvious that it was related to that.
Yeah.
I think the person, the zombie-like person in her nightmare was the actor who was playing Harry Hule.
Yeah, but it's not that he's not hideous looking.
No, he's just very gaunt. Has a very thin face.
Thin, lanky.
Yeah.
He's a wreck.
Yeah.
And that's part of the story. So, yeah, I think you should check it out. Detective Hule on Netflix.
Netflix, yep. We'll have a link.
Yeah.
I mean, we did last week. We'll put another link this week.
Because it's really good. What else are we watching?
That's a good question. We spent most of this week watching the crew of the Artemis II heading to the moon.
Yes.
So, and that sort of snuck up on me because I knew the launch was happening, but then Friday night, so Friday night or Thursday night? They launched. Thursday night.
It was first.
The Thursday night they launched. So we was like, oh yeah, that's tonight. And so we started watching it. It sort of unlocked a lot of emotions and memories in me that I hadn't even thought about for a long time. And I've posted on social media about this, but I mean, I have a deep regret for us as a society that we let our exploration of deep space, and this is near space, but of space atrophy for 53 years.
Right.
That we spent all of our time in low Earth orbit. And it's not that we shouldn't have done that. We did need to do that. Low Earth orbit is very important, especially for the Earth. But exploration is a special thing for humanity, I think. And it gives us hope. It gives us something to achieve, to strive for. It allows us to innovate. And I mean, there's a saying somewhere that we return $3 in innovation for every dollar we spend on the space program.
Really?
Yeah. And because the things that they use are used in other places, and you don't develop some of those things commercially on their own because we don't know what the application is yet. But once they're developed, right, in order to get people to the moon and back, then all sorts of people come out and say, oh, well, this could be used in different ways. So we've always gotten more out of the space program than we put in it. And so, and that's without calculating the importance of inspiring young people to go into the sciences,
right?
To stay in school, to
get those STEM programs going,
to do STEM programs, to do math and science and engineering courses, to be the next innovator.
Right.
That's important. And how many people will watch this as a young kid? Will watch this mission and the future missions where they're actually going to land on the moon next year, and the year after when they're actually going to start to establish a permanent base.
Right.
That's huge for our species, I think. And so I've been very excited about it. We spent all the afternoon yesterday watching the crew doing mundane things, eating in space,
exercising
in
showering
space.
In space.
Showering in space. Not really showering, but they were doing their wipe down after their exercise, which was kind of interesting. They actually had to make a decision about whether to show that or not, and they decided
that for that particular crew member, it was fine.
Right, he didn't have any objections to it, so
I think that maybe the other crew member, you didn't see much of him.
No, he moved off camera, so I think that he made that choice for himself, and then they actually cut away for one of the other crew members. So, but I think the crew member was Victor Glover. Victor Glover. Apparently they called up to ask, and he said, I don't care.
Right.
Show what you want to show. And so they showed while he was, cooling off after his exercise and using their little moist towelettes to wipe down and clean himself up. There was nothing scandalous about it. but it was different.
He's a very handsome man.
He is a handsome man, and he is, as all of them are, I'm sure, well toned and muscled from the exercises. But it was interesting to watch how they're doing, the exercises, using a flywheel device to do aerobic exercises in a 0G, which is very important because they lose a lot of muscle and bone density during those missions.
I didn't look it up, but somebody on one of the posts that I shared said that he was the only astronaut who actually gained muscle mass while he was on the International Space Station.
So he's very religious about doing his exercises.
Yeah.
That's cool. And
it shows.
But
but even Christina Koch, Koch. Yeah.
Koch.
You saw her arms. I was like, dang.
Yeah. They're all in very good shape. And NASA has during the course of the mission, is very regimented about them getting through their exercises. Not just for their own health, but also because they're testing everything else about this craft. They're testing the spacecraft in all ways because this is the first crewed mission for the spacecraft.
Well, you talk about that. And they had a problem with their medical tablet, and here we are both kind of have done tech support in past lives. And we're like, no, just reboot it. Turn Bluetooth off. Turn it back on. But basically, so I read that they are testing CPR, how to do CPR in 0G, and how to handle if somebody's choking in 0G.
Yeah, that's what they were. They didn't show it yesterday. They turned the cameras off, but they had a choking hazard demonstration that the crew did yesterday to sort of practice how they would do that in a 0G.
Do they have one of those dummies, that they...
I don't know how they did it. They didn't show us how they did it, but
that's what I want to know, if they have one of those dummies that, would do the...
We've been fascinated by that. We're going to continue to be fascinated by that for the next few days because now they're headed toward, they're more than halfway to the moon. The moon's starting to get bigger in the pictures that they're taking. Is pretty fascinating. Yeah, of course, they take the first human recorded picture of the whole Earth since 1972.
Right.
Now being called Blue Marble 2. It's a beautiful picture.
Yeah.
That you can actually see the stars in.
Yes.
Because they took it with the sun behind the Earth, so you're getting the Earth lit by the moon.
Yeah.
And it's
cool. You can see the auroras.
Yeah.
In both the north and the south. And it's a beautiful picture.
It is a beautiful picture. If you haven't seen it,
I think we both have it on our tablets.
We do, and we'll link that in the...
Yes, of course we would.
Yeah, it's a fantastic picture.
So if you aren't watching the Artemis, well, by the time this comes out, they'll be probably halfway home.
Yeah. Yeah. But you can still go to NASA's website.
Yeah, NASA.gov.
NASA.gov and look at pictures and videos that they've done. They do recaps every day.
I'm shocked that I didn't know about this sooner. That it just, like you said, it kind of snuck up on me. And I said to somebody at work, I said, "Oh, are you guys going to watch the launch tonight?" They're like, "What launch?" And I'm like, "The launch to the flyby of the moon."
And so I've heard lots of questions online. Why aren't they landing?
This is normal.
This is normal. This is exactly what they did in the Apollo program. The first missions to the moon do not land. They want to test out the spacecraft before they go and put them on the surface of the moon and then have to launch back out. They designed this mission specifically so it's low risk. So the way they designed this mission is they fired one major burn to escape Earth's orbit. That put them on a trajectory that will take them around the moon and back with no further major burns.
They're supposed to have a burn tonight at 9 p.m.
Those are trajectory burns, and those are just to move them on the path so that they're in the right place.
Right, and they didn't even have to do one of those.
They didn't even do the orbital trajectory burn that they had correction burn that they had scheduled yesterday. We don't know if they're going to have to do the burn after they go by the moon. That'll depend on how good their calculations are. But either way, because of the way they did the trajectory, they don't have to make another major engine burn. They would return, if they did nothing else, they would return back to Earth on the trajectory, just from the orbital mechanics of the way that they did it. And that was intentional, so they didn't have to fire that rocket again and have another point of failure. They wanted to make sure that everything worked, and that if something went wrong, they didn't have to worry about that.
Right. The biggest problem that they're having right now is that their space toilet apparently is loud. I don't really know what the problem was last night that they were having, if it was still loud or what was going on. Do you? There's an odor, there's a burning odor coming from the space toilet, and they don't know. Do you think it's the fan?
They think it might be the fan motor, but they're not sure. It's not creating any sort of reading. They do readings on the capsule gases like multiple times a day. They're not getting anything on that, so they don't really know. But they think it might be related to motor overheating. So they're still researching that.
So yeah, it was interesting to watch them have their midday meal together.
That was fun.
Yeah, stew and bread and.
Yeah, we don't know what else.
Macaroni and cheese.
We don't know what else because we got distracted watching Glover exercising. But but yeah, it seemed like one of them had beef stew and some bread, and I'm not sure what Christina was eating. But yeah, so it's been fun to watch. We're going to continue watching it. That's been exciting.
Yeah.
We have to take breaks to watch other stuff. Otherwise, we just have it on all night, and that's all we do.
Right.
We just sort of watch
I almost asked you if you wanted to put it on while we slept, but every once in a while they do recaps, and that could get annoying.
That could get annoying.
So, yeah. I see this lovely popcorn here, and you're munching away on it, and maybe you're thinking about what's for dinner?
Thinking about why you stopped me from eating it. That's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, what's for dinner?
Tonight, I don't know because we forgot to take the chicken out.
Well, we got a little distracted with recording a podcast and dealing with technology and cats and out of control of feline producers.
Yes.
But what about we just had something, a really nice meal the other night you cooked.
Yeah,
tell us about that.
We had we talked about going into the store and getting something, and we had some asparagus that needed to be cooked, and I thought, there's got to be something else we could do. So I'm like, well, shrimp and asparagus sounds good. And what else could we have? Oh, I have a bunch of shelf-stable gnocchi. So we made a shrimp and asparagus crispy gnocchi meal that was delicious.
It's really good.
Yeah,
really, really,
really,
good.
Really easy. Yeah. Just crisp up the gnocchi, saute some garlic, and I say some, but we tend to go for a lot of garlic, which is how we like
it was a lot of garlic.
It was very good, though. I don't think it was over garlicky.
No, I don't think so.
And then you add the vegetables, and it called for a broth in the couple of recipes that I inspired from this. But I didn't want that broth taste, so I just used white wine, and then added the shrimp and added the gnocchi back in, and voila, salt, pepper, red pepper flakes. We have.
It's really good.
Shrimp, really good. Asparagus.
We ate way too much because reheated gnocchi is not really good.
No, it's really not.
It's really chewy and it's really not appetizing at all.
No.
So we just ate it all.
It was too much food.
It was too much food. I felt really, really full, but it was really, really good.
I think that'll be
We could do that again. That's really good. But there's no recipe to point you to on that, because Jeanne just sort of melded a bunch of different recipes
Yeah,
together.
I think one was on the New York Times. Was a crispy gnocchi and shrimp. They didn't have asparagus. And then I'm like, well, I want asparagus in it because we need to eat that asparagus.
Right.
And how many times can I say asparagus? So
are you getting some sort of a kickback?
I don't know.
The farm
brought
community?
to you by asparagus.
The U.S. Asparagus Growers Association presents the Co-opted Life.
What's for dinner? Anyway, so asparagus. And so I looked up recipes, and there was one on eatwell.com, I believe, and that's where I got the broth idea. And I'm like, well, I don't want to do broth and whatever. This is me rambling, but this is how I cook. This is exactly how I cook.
But what we did was, what we wanted to mention in this episode as well is we did what we talked about last week, and we prepared everything in advance, which is called what?
Mise en place.
Mise en place.
Yeah.
And so I do that almost every single time. Jeannie's not as good at doing that because she's more of a do it on the fly. I get way too distracted doing that, and I end up burning things, or things get skipped.
Our fire alarm has gone off many times when he cooks.
Because I'm trying to do too many things at one time.
Cooking, sauteing, and then the garlic gets hot.
Cutting the garlic and the vegetables. So I do everything in advance. Get everything chopped, get everything in little bowls, which will drive some people crazy. But yesterday, we did that.
At my request.
At Jeannie's request, she said, just cut these up and get it all ready. So we did it.
Because I knew, because I was experimenting, that I didn't want to, didn't want
to have to think about all that at one time.
Right, and it was a good thing because
the garlic,
after I crisped up the gnocchi and put more oil in the pan to saute an aromatic garlic, that's not the right verb tense. Anyway, to make the garlic more aromatic.
Right.
But it started to burn, and had I been chopping up the vegetables, the asparagus, brought to you by the U.S. Farmers Association, I would have had the fire alarm go off. And
we probably would have ruined the dish. We'd have had burnt garlic. But we didn't. You quickly moved it off, got the heat down, and continued on. So there's a benefit to doing that all in advance. Mise en place, getting everything done and prepared.
I'm sure our French pronunciation is
terrible,
horrible. Who cares?
Well, Google every time I say it thinks I'm saying Nissan. So
yeah, Nissan.
They're not a sponsor either. But anyway.
No, they are not.
So what else have we been cooking? Anything else going on?
You made catfish and cheddar grits last weekend for me.
So we did our blackened fish and grits recipe, but this time, instead of doing tilapia, we did catfish, and instead of
sharp cheddar,
we used
cheddar
mozzarella, and it was just as good. It was fine.
It was good.
It was very, very good. The catfish was good. It was really good. It was very hot when we tried to eat it.
Yes.
But the dish itself was very, very good. So we're going to continue to play around with that one. We're going to continue to make fish in different ways. We're not going to have it blackened every time. We're going to try some baked fish and some different things. So, keep things sort of fresh and new.
And not in a rut, which we tend to. Because if I had it my way, I'd be eating chicken with broccoli pretty much every night, or salmon with asparagus, or...
Yeah, so what did we do? So we did that in the middle of the week, because at one point we were set to have chicken for the third night in a row, and I was like, that's a lot of chicken. So I said, well, you know what? We bought that catfish. Let me do the catfish.
Yeah.
So we did the catfish in the middle of the week to sort of break that up. And then we had shrimp, so we had fish twice and we had chicken twice, so it worked out.
Yeah.
But
catfish, salmon. I'm like, fish twice and seafood.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just counting in my head.
Yeah. Well, we just say that's right. We had chicken twice. We had salmon once. We had catfish once, and we had shrimp. So we actually had seafood 3 times. So it turned out that we didn't have.
Is fish really seafood?
How would fish not be seafood?
I don't know. What if they came from a river? Would they be river food? I
feel like this is some kind of a chicken of the sea moment for us.
Sorry, Charlie. I'm just saying, is fish part of the seafood category?
Yes.
It is?
It has to be. What else would it be called?
Fish. Fish and seafood.
I think the seafood part is things that aren't fish.
Right.
Fish is fish.
Okay. And shrimp is a seafood, and oysters are seafood.
They're all seafoods.
Trout can be a lake. Is that lake food?
No.
It's still seafood?
Still seafood.
No, it's not, because it's not from the sea.
It's not. That's not. I mean, do you call steak a steak if it comes from a cow that was bred in a barn instead of a pasture?
It still comes from a cow, so it's still called steak.
It's still called seafood because it's fish.
I think fish and seafood are two different things. We'll get back to you on that.
I think seafood is a broader category that covers both.
Oh, brought to you by the USDA Fisheries. Goodness.
All right. Well, I don't think we have anything else today. Every story has an end, but our process is just getting started.
Thanks for joining us behind the scenes at the Co-Authored Life.
I'm J.E. Sutton Jr.
And I'm Jeannie. To see what we're currently working on, visit JESuttonJr.com, and we'll see you in the next chapter. River food, lake food, seafood.
It's all seafood.